Hey guys, this is Sawyer. I wanted to do a quick review for Bone Parish Volume 1 from Boom Studios, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that's who publishes it. This is the first volume graphic novel. It collects the first 5 issues of the series. And if you guys go far back in my videos, I think you will see that I did a review for the first issue, back when the first issue first came out. And I really liked it, but I didn't follow up on it, because most of the time when I do those first issue reviews, I don't follow up on the books. Even if I do like them, just because time and stuff and money and all that, I can't just continue to read every single book that I review because I would never have money. But this one I did decide to pick up the first issue, the first volume. I don't remember if I got it off Comixology. I got it digitally, but I don't remember if I paid for it or not. I think it was part of the Kindle Unlimited subscription or something, maybe. But regardless, I really like this book, man. I wanted to share this book with you guys. It's essentially a crime drama about a family that go into basically drug dealing. They create this drug empire out in New Orleans. It's a primarily black family. Like the mom is white, but all the kids are black and all that stuff. And essentially, it deals with their struggle to hold the power they're getting. To fight against the police force, to fight against rival organized crime that want their money. They're becoming really popular. Their drug is hugely popular and successful, so they're having to deal with all the restraints that come with that, the business side and stuff. It deals a lot more with the business side than I was expecting it to deal with when it comes to like a drug dealing story. But it's not just a normal drug dealing story. No. We're dealing with a drug that's made from the remains of dead people. It's called ash because it's essentially, all the different parts of the bodies and stuff crumbled up into ash, and you just snort it like cocaine or something. And so, outside of the really creepy way that they create this drug, it gives you incredibly out of body kind of experiences, like really out of body. Basically, you see ghosts, you see the spirits of people you love. The drug is extremely addicting and gives people like this kind of closure and lets them talk to their loved ones and stuff. And that's a very powerful, addicting kind of idea. The idea of a drugs are already incredibly addicting and manipulative, and all that with the chemistry and all that scientific stuff behind it. But when you add in the supernatural aspect of being able to literally see visions of like your dead loved ones as ghosts, talking to you and stuff, and that just adds an extra like level of like just emotional kind of craziness you're going to get from a story involving this. And another thing I like about this book is just the way that all the characters really feel important. They all kind of have like a job or a role within the family business. You have the mother she's the hierarch or the monarchy or whatever. She's the one that runs everything. You have her oldest son, who's essentially the second in command. He wants more responsibility, but she doesn't quite trust him with it yet, and there's a little bit of conflict between them. But at the end of the day, they're still family. He's kind of like, he runs a lot of the more like day-to-day business stuff. Then you got the second oldest brother, who's essentially he's essentially the street level kind of enforcer. He's the one that usually goes out and like kind of breaks the leg, so to speak, and does that kind of work, the more grunt work, I guess. And then you have like, there's a family friend who's essentially just like their street level peddler. Like they have a series, like a group of peddlers that go out and sell the drugs. And then you have the sister, she's the cook, so to speak. Breaking Bad or meth terminology. She's the cook. She's the one that's actually creating the drugs, and she has the secret recipe that she won't share with the rest of the family because she feels that she would be disposable if she revealed it. And it's a very cool dynamic between all these characters. You really feel the family bond, but at the same time, you always feel that kind of insecurity that a lot of the characters have. That they might be disposable, like Bridget thinks she is, and so on. Or like Braille, I believe is the oldest brother's name. He always kind of has this feeling that his mom doesn't trust him enough, and that he should take more responsibility. That he's not being given the responsibility and respect he deserves. So there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a really cool reveal that happens towards the end of the first issue. I won't get into it. But it's really cool. It might be obvious to some people. Some people might see it coming, but it's still a pretty good reveal if you don't see it coming. Overall, and another cool aspect about this series is that the drugs, it's not just the fact that they give you like visions of dead people. They can also, depending on how that particular batch is created, They don't really go into it too much, but Bridget, she has the cook. She has the ability, like, to kind of, she has the ability to basically give someone a batch that will give them the memories and the skill sets of the people that the batch was made from. So for example, there's a part in the story where one of the brothers is kind of like worried that a situation might go south, and he might have to defend himself. So he asks Bridget for, like, some insurance policy or whatever, which we don't know what that means, but basically it's a sample of the drugs, and he takes it during a fight, and he essentially gains the skill sets and the memories of this dead special ops guy that was in the army. So all of a sudden he has all this sniper training and military fighting training. So it's a really cool sequence, and they do this cool visual thing where whenever they're doing that, you see them doing a particular action, and then you immediately on the next panel or the next page or whatever, you'll see that the person that died doing a similar action. So you see them kind of living vicariously through the dead person. So it's very fascinating. A lot of the themes of the book are about, like, the dead not really being dead, and like what we can learn from the dead, and like what we can use from the dead, and all that kind of stuff. Very, very cool. Love the book in general. They kind of weave this nice little world, and it's rooted enough in realism that this could totally be like a Breaking Bad. You could totally see this happening in real life, but the idea of, like, the ash and the supernatural elements, they're subtle, but they're there, and they add enough that they make the story really intriguing, and they let you do really cool stuff, but they don't completely just like change the dynamic. Like the show doesn't have time travel. It doesn't have, like, freaking fireball spells, but there is enough of a supernatural element that it adds a nice variety to your typical kind of crime drama, drug empire kind of story. And another thing I like about the book, and this is one of those things that people probably might not have the same opinion with, but me personally, when I read something or watch something, and it's focused primarily on a certain culture, like, for example, like, it's focused on like, if all the main characters are black, or all the main characters are Asian, or from another country, or whatever the case may be, I find that most of the time when you focus a story on all the characters being like that, the story seems like it holds itself on a crutch to that particular group. Like, for example, I just feel like it feels like every book or every story or movie that has, like, a primarily whatever cast, it feels like they have to use stories, they have to use story beats, they have to use themes that are prevalent for that particular culture. And I get it, I totally get it, but it's a little annoying. It does sometimes, from an outsider perspective, sometimes it feels like it's just, like, pandering. It throws too much on it. But this story, I don't know, like, pretty much all the characters are black, but I never feel like it's a black only kind of story, like, or it's a story that only black people would appreciate. I just never feel that way, and I think that's a good testament to the way it's written and stuff. Like, there's small, subtle things that deal with with racism and all the stuff that you would typically see in a story like this, or about characters like this. But it's subtle. It's not, like, over the top. It's not like the main focus of the story. There's plenty of other stories that can focus on that. So I do appreciate that, and that's just my particular opinion from somebody who's outside of those realms reading this book. I appreciate that. I don't know, not everybody might feel that way, but that's my review for Bone Parish Volume 1. Definitely check it out if you're into crime dramas, if you're into kind of like your supernatural kind of ghost stories. The book has great art, very good, wicked, creepy visuals throughout, and like I said, I think the characters are very well written. I think the story is pretty good, pretty well structured. The first volume flies. Like, this is probably one of the quickest reads I've had in a while, because I just kept reading it. Like, I never took a break. I was just ready. I just wanted it. Like, it was good, very, very exciting from front to end. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned.